And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. And we have Mike Murphy in studio with us, Murphy Auto Group. He's our auto industry expert contributor on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program. We're going to talk about new inventory, how leasing works, and I'll share a story about how it worked really well for me to buy out of my lease and how that kind of plays out. And also, he's got an event coming up, March Madness event at Kingmakers. We're going to talk about that as well, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always featuring our real estate listings live on air. It's a strategy that helps us sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure on the sale of our real estate listings. And that shorter marketing period is key. The days on market for your real estate listing, days on market, in other words, are enemy to your home's value. The longer days on market are up, in a lot of cases, the worst scenario you're going to have as far as pricing goes. All right, we got a property here on Hardcastle Place in Valrico, 232 Hardcastle Place, Valrico. This is a nice entry-level home, maybe a starter home, maybe turn it into a rental potentially. If you're allowed to do that there, you'd have to double-check with the HOA. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, bonus room, 1,560 square feet. You got granite countertops in the kitchen, and this property has a beautiful community pool, plenty of parking, great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. This is Valrico, Florida, kind of East Hillsborough County, 232 Hardcastle Place in Valrico. Great opportunity for a real estate buyer. We also have a great property. This is a commercial listing, 2907 North Florida Avenue. 2907 North Florida Avenue. This is a 12 to 15,000 square foot building. You have 2 buildings on site. This is a great opportunity. If you have a lease out there, if you're a business owner and you have a lease, this would be a property to look at. $2.8 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 2 buildings on site. So you've got 1 building that's rented out, kicking off around $6,500 cash a month in place, lease in place. 30 parking spaces, corner lot location, close to downtown, and the owners are motivated. It's for lease and rent. 2907 North Florida Avenue in Tampa, and you can see all of our real estate listings at platinumcoastalelite.com. Check out platinumcoastalelite.com. All right, quick shout out for Zuli, who's in the marketing department here at Salem. The Great American Cigar Tour with Sebastian Gorka coming up on Tuesday, March 19th. It's going to be doors open at 6:30, and the event starts at 7 o'clock. It's over at the Corona Cigar Company in Tampa, and you're going to meet Sebastian Gorka. Here's some great stories from him. 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard in Tampa. I kind of call that area Restaurant Row, right outside the mall there. So it's a great opportunity to come out and enjoy some fellowship, smoke some cigars, meet some folks, and have a good time on March 19th. Save the date, 7 o'clock, March 19th. Great American Cigar Tour with Sebastian Gorka in Tampa Bay. All right, we got Mike Murphy back in studio. Welcome back, sir.
Great to be back.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in, and great to have you back. It's been a little while since we visited, but I hear you got some new inventory over there and a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, finally. It feels like it's been years, and probably has been years, since I've been able to say inventory's back, and what does that mean for the consumer? So this is good news for the consumer, because when you have inventory starting to gather back on dealerships' lots, the dealership is always motivated to sell, but what happens is the manufacturer starts to bring back rebates and incentives because they need those vehicles to be sold so they can continue with their inventory expectations and their planning. So if it's Toyota, Nissan, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Infiniti, all of our brands have great inventory, great selection now. You can get the color you want with the equipment you want, and rebates are coming back. So that's
nice.
Exciting.
Got rebates coming back. So we're in a sense the manufacturers are playing in the game of incentivizing consumers to come back to the table, get into a new lease, get into a purchase.
Exactly. Now we can think of rebates and incentives in 2 different areas. Rebates would lower the cost of the vehicle, but there are some awesome incentives, including like 1.9% on Infinitis, and Toyota has a very comparable model at 3.9%.
Wow. Yeah, I love those Infinitis. They look beautiful out there, man. Those are nice cars.
They sure are.
Now, when we get into leasing, the conversation around leasing, it was pretty cool because you actually said, Brandon, I was telling you about a lease on the vehicle I own, and you said, hey, might be a good time to buy out that lease. So I didn't even realize that was a thing. And then, so I had a lease in place. Walk me through that. Walk our audience through, like, how does that work, and what did I actually do there?
Sure. Okay. So when a customer comes into the dealership and wants to lease a car, usually it's to take advantage of the tax benefits of leasing, or they trade their cars every 3 years and are pretty cyclical. So let's use a very simple scenario. Somebody comes in a Miracle Toyota in Haines City, and they want to lease a Camry. And they want to lease that Camry for 3 years. So if we're leasing a vehicle for 3 years, the first calculation is done is what does the lender believe the value of your vehicle will be 3 years from now? Because you don't own it, you're just renting it.
Got it.
So in that scenario, let's just say it's 50% and the car's $30,000. So instead of financing the entire $30,000 and trading your car 3 years from now, you're leasing the car or renting the car for half of the price because they believe the car's worth $30,000 today, and when you're done with it, it'll be worth $15,000. So your payments is based on a different and less number of $15,000.
Nice. Okay.
So what are the advantages to leasing? At least for Miracle Toyota, you have no cost maintenance the entire time of your lease. You've got roadside protection. You've got free maintenance. You've got a 250,000-mile warranty on like powertrains. There's so many reasons why leasing is a single cost of ownership without blowing out a tire. Now, what happened to you is the market changed.
Right.
So nobody predicted COVID, and nobody predicted that would lead to a semiconductor chip shortage, which would lead to a vehicle shortage, which supply and demand economics caused the value of your car to be significantly more than what they thought it would be. But they are contractually liable to give you the option to purchase the car for the remaining value at the end of your lease. So what you did, correct me if I'm wrong here, is you bought out your lease and you were able to instantly have equity in a vehicle that you bought for $15,000 as an example that may have been worth $22,000. So you gained $7,000 of equity.
Yeah. Right on. No, that was perfect. And that was because I listened to Mike Murphy with Murphy Auto Group, and he's our expert contributor. Always, in life, I look at the experts. I say, hey, tell me why. And that's in the real estate business. I have clients that look to me as the expert. So, thank you for that, Mike. And that was awesome to be able to convert that. And now I'm going to own that vehicle at the end of whenever the payments are. So we're talking with Mike Murphy, Murphy Auto Group. He's our expert contributor in the areas of automobiles. And, of course, he's a published author as well and a very successful businessman. Talk about that too, because you own multiple locations throughout the Southeast.
Correct. Yeah. So Murphy Auto Group is now doing business in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. We're up to 6 franchise dealerships, but there's so much more that makes up our company. We are up to about almost 24 entities. If it's real estate company, insurance companies, we own our own marketing agency. And we do a lot of our own underwriting.
Nice.
So it's a great way for our entrepreneurs out there. It's all about vertical integration.
Yep.
My trick to success I would encourage you all to do, take the top 20 payables you have every year and figure out how you could pay yourself instead of somebody else.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. Now, talk to me about, you've got also Kingmakers. This is a cool kind of a project you just recently developed, and you're doing an event coming up for March Madness.
I am. So Kingmakers is a shared workspace near Midtown in Tampa, and it's meant for individuals that have sold their business and want to give back to the next generation of millennials entrepreneurs, or your millennial entrepreneur in need of development. So think of it like an incubator for small businesses, but it's by invitation only. So sorry, we're not public. You can't just walk up and join. But what we want to do is create an elite organization of like-minded individuals that are not only for profit, but also for purpose.
Yeah, short. So you have, it's an invite only, so that kind of keeps it to people that that are kind of cool or kind of in your wheelhouse. You want to spend more time with these types of people, and you're not open to the public. I love that. It provides that kind of exclusivity for that. And the shared workspace, that idea has been around for a little while, but it is a really cool way, because a lot of people, we look at the COVID and the lockdowns and the Chinese virus and how that affected business climate, and there's a lot of challenges potentially with the commercial space. There's a lot of commercial debt out there. That's kind of a bunny trail we could go down later, but for the conversation here is the return to work options. A lot of people are saying, hey, I'd rather work from home or have this option to do a shared, like a workspace. Can you talk a little bit about that model?
So it's about 5,000 square feet. When you walk in, it feels like a cross between an elegant locker room at a private golf club and a sports bar. TVs everywhere. There's a juice bar, coffee bar. You have a concierge to serve you. But it's meant for you to work in public and with like-minded individuals. But if you need to, there's silent focus rooms. There's 3 of those that you can work by yourself, you could take a call with 100% privacy. There's a large conference room that's also available for you to bring in clients and guests. And then there's a production studio, so that you're able to cut infomercials, commercials, and social media ads for, say, an Etsy store, Shopify, and to get your small business off the ground.
Yeah, that's super cool. So you got the green screen set up. You're in there making videos. You're probably got a lot of cool crossover happening between some of your clients as well. So we're talking with Mike Murphy, Murphy Auto Group, and entrepreneur. We're talking about the Kingmakers shared workspace that he has as well. And Mike, you have an affinity towards athletes in the University of Miami and some of the. Talk a little bit about what you're doing in that space as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kingmakers is a great example. So this was born after NIL, and we were sitting with Tate Martell, Bubba Bolden, and a few other guys, and we were talking about when they are in the league, what are they going to do in their off season? Where are they going to be able to work out their bodies to stay in shape? But where are they going to be able to work out their minds to get their small business up off the ground? See, I believe my friends in this generation, we don't believe we're student athletes or professional athletes. We're now all kind of athletepreneurs. We're entrepreneurs that play a sport. So that when the career is, when the sport's gone, their career stays. And it's very, very fun to believe that the best years for these professional athletes could be when they're done playing their sports, instead of that small window of time that can be taken away by an ACL.
Yeah, exactly. The ACL, any number of untimely injuries, which we see a lot, and you have the ESPNs of the world doing documentaries about that, and I think that's a kind of a misstep that a lot of athletes think is the invincibility factor. A young athlete, strong in the gyms, maybe pretty strong mindset when it comes to sports, but having that longevity in mind, a lot of people don't realize what's the average career of an athlete, right? Or an NFL guy, 5 years, something like that.
It's interesting. So if you're drafted, you can make it about 3 years on average in the NFL. If you're undrafted, you make it 3 weeks.
No way. So 3 years is actual number.
Yep.
Wow.
That's why you get some veteran benefits, I believe, after year 3. So it's very, very cool. And Kingmakers came from a need. These student athletes and now professional athletes needed that structure and mentor, and that's why there's B2B CFO options. There's CMOs for B2B CMOs. So that's finance and marketing that's also in-house with your membership.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're providing a layer of consultation and having so that's kind of built in. So they would have, that's a whole part of their business that they wouldn't even have to account for. It's like, hey, we got you.
Yeah, exactly. Like when a baby's born premature, they go into NICU and they finish maturing until they're able to make it on their own. Well, this is like small business NICU or SBU. We're going to work on that part.
Yeah,
but the idea is that when your business is not 100% formed, but it's close enough, you're able to come into Kingmakers as a non-equity member, and then the equity members are there to mentor you, coach you, and if we like the idea enough, invest in you.
Yeah, I love that. When I went to Business Mastery back in 2010, I think it was, with Tony Robbins, flew to Fiji. What an awesome trip it was. But I remember that's one of the first things they showed us is the life cycle of a business. So you have the infant, the toddlers, of course, teenager, et cetera, going on. And you have companies like GE, been around forever, these types of companies. But a lot of them are in these different phases. And in each phase, there's common occurrences, there's common challenges that you have. So the more that you can do masterminding, kind of like you're doing with Kingmakers here, and you can have those systems in place, the better you're going to be, and you're going to be able to condense decades into days, right?
Agreed. My dad used to say, if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, the only thing left to do is rot.
There you
go.
go.
So we want to continue to stay humble and hungry, learn and grow, and the best way to do that is invest in the next generations of us, is the next Brandons and Mikes out there, because they're there probably without our bad habits, and they understand blockchain technology, NFTs, and cryptos, and it's made me a better person by giving back.
Yeah, AI, et cetera. Yeah, another Denicism, by the way. That was the name of your book, right?
It was, yes.
Denicisms.
Still available on Amazon.
There you go. Mike Murphy. Coming up, more with Mike Murphy here, Murphy Auto Group, in studio with us. We're going to take a quick break. Please follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1, at CQB Show. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're very close to hitting another milestone. So if you do us that great favor, maybe we get to a red light or get a break in your day, go to youtube.com/Brandon Rhymes Realty or Consumer Quarterback Show search and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate that. Coming back, more with Mike Murphy, Murphy Auto Group.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. They offer the very best nationwide coverage on 4G and 5G LTE networks and exceptional 100% US-based customer support. Patriot Mobile offers discounts for veterans and first responders, NRA members, and families with multiple lines. Learn more at patriotmobile.com/consumer QB. That's patriotmobile.com/consumer QB. Or if you'd like to give us a call, you can reach out at 727-263-3707. That's 727-263-3707. And we'd be happy to tell you more about Patriot Mobile. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. You can reach me at 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes back in studio here with Mike Murphy, Murphy Auto Group. On the Consumer Quarterback Show, entrepreneur and of course, a business owner here in Tampa Bay. Support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. All of our expert contributors greatly appreciate it. Love the feedback I'm getting lately from a lot of our listeners. You can submit an email through consumerqb.com, or you can also call the hotline if you'd like to connect with us. It's an off-air number, 727-263-3707, 727-263-3707. 3707. Call or text that off-air number. We'd love to have a conversation with you, put you in touch with any of our expert contributors, 80 different categories of consumer advocates associated with the Consumer Quarterback Show. Quick shout out to Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the program. I love going down and visiting their location on Gandy Boulevard, multiple Bay Area locations. The other locations are your home or your office. They do make house calls. So get that vitamin infusion drip directly into your bloodstream, boost your immunity. And I tell you, they said they were real busy during the Gasparilla days, as you can imagine, Mike. You know, a lot of people with some, what do you call it, the liquid hangover?
Yeah.
But yeah, get those vitamin infusion drips over there at Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. All right, we're going to do one listing here. This one is at the 7532 Yachtsman Drive in Hudson, another waterfront property. We've got about a dozen or so waterfront properties, beautiful homes and real estate properties, vacant land, commercial properties here in Tampa Bay. 7532 Yachtsman Drive in Hudson. This one's 1632 square feet on a canal that leads out to the Gulf of Mexico. Brand new kitchen, granite countertops, top-of-the-line stainless steel appliances, and too many upgrades to list right here on the show. But you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Talking with Mike Murphy here in studio, Murphy Auto Group, and a lot of cool things happened. Did we get to that event in March, the March Madness?
Yet.
Okay.
So Kingmaker's going to open about summertime, but we're having a few pre-grand opening events. The first pre-grand opening event is going to be Thursday and Friday, March 22nd, 23rd. That's the beginning of March Madness. So we've got about 12 TVs. I believe there's like 6 to 8 games on at any given time. So every single game for March Madness will be played at Kingmaker's. It is an open house, so you can just come on by. It's 3707 West Carmen Street, right next to Wawa in Midtown on Dale Mabry. And here's the best part. We've got some beverages lined up. We've got 2 different food options. I believe food's served at 12 and at 3 p.m., and we're going to go to 9 p.m. on those 2 days. And then for all my equity members and fans of the show that are listening, if you reach out, we've got an equity event that Saturday, March 24th, where it's champagne showers, in-house sushi, hibachi, the games, a couple celebrities, and a couple surprises. So that'll be invitation only, but Thursday and Friday is completely open to the public, and we can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, man. I might swing by there, check that out, and have some fun. And I miss being involved in athletics and sports, right? Like the athlete that kind of goes into business and gets busy, has kids, and you get pulled in all these different directions. But that's some fun times, man, when you see these different Cinderellas coming up. Do you have any Cinderella picks this year? What is it, like a Gonzaga or a FGCU or somebody? Who's your FGCU this year, Mike?
I don't really have one quite yet. Unfortunately, the Canes didn't perform the way we wanted to. We got taken out by the injury bug. Florida's looking pretty good. They're playing good ball. I would expect Auburn to make a little bit of a run as they kept it tight with Tennessee a few days ago. I think that SEC basketball, and it kills me to say that, is going to show up this year.
Wow.
Now, you're always going to have an 11, 12, 13 seed that's going to bust your bracket, ruin your parlay.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be so much fun to see Thursday and Friday. Now that sports gambling is legal in the state of Florida, obviously we're not a casino or a sports book, but if you're betting on your mobile app, stop by. I'll be there all 3 days, and I want to see if you hit that 3-game, 5-game parlay and who's going to crush all of our dreams and hopes and perfect brackets. If I may, two things. Check your mailbox. You've got a VIP invitation coming for the Saturday event.
Sweet. Thank you, man.
In addition to that, for everybody who wants to learn more about Kingmakers, and if you get it in before the event, we have an opportunity for you to win $1 million with a perfect bracket, and that's only by going to kingmakerstampa.com.
Super cool. I like that. So you want people to check you out online as well at Real Mike Murphy. That's the Instagram.
Absolutely. You can go to at Real Mike Murphy at realmikemurphy.com, or then there's kingmakerstampa.com.
Yeah, I love going on the sports topic. We don't do too many sports here on the show. We try to stick business and consumer advocacy, but it was kind of interesting because traditionally you think about like ACC being a hoop school, Kentucky's being your hoops thing. So you think there's like a little bit of a shift happening, and then also, we hadn't talked about in a while that Florida State deal, because I think Florida State's trying to push to go out of the ACC now, right?
They are, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that. It's hard for me to root for anything Florida State does. But, I think they're setting the example that the conferences and probably the NCAA will be gone in a few years. We've got to figure out the right way to treat all of our student athletes with respect. It doesn't make any sense for Florida State to go join a big conference. Maybe for football it does, but let's talk about a volleyball player or a softball player. We've got Cal in the ACC. What is it going to be like for a student athlete who has to leave California to come play at Miami?
Wow.
What about classes? What about jet lag? What about the cost of it?
That is ridiculous. I didn't realize that. So you got a California team playing in the ACC, which is supposed to be the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I mean, it shows you how much I follow sports, but it just makes no sense at all.
Agreed. But I think that's the world we live in, and I got to take responsibility for partially breaking it by doing the first NIL deal. But NIL is fantastic. You could argue that the last form of modern-day slavery in the United States was a student athlete because they're being paid by education.
Interesting. Okay.
And, of course, that's gone now because your fair market value, you're an adult, you're 18 years old. What does the market dictate your worth?
Right. Yeah, I like that. That's interesting. And for those that don't know, NIL is name, image, likeness, and that's allowing these athletes to be paid. One of the counter arguments to that, we only have a minute left, but is when you look at the NIL, the counter argument it would be a situation where you have big money schools, Alabama, etc., spending more money, and so then now you got the smaller schools at a disadvantage. What's your thoughts around that, or how's that? There's
always going to be winners and losers in everything in life, and it's just like business. Sometimes it's consistently unfair, but what I do believe is you're going to see Cinderella stories in sports more now than ever.
Yeah.
Because you can be a 5-star and you get $1 million, and if you're third string in Alabama, how long are you going to stay in Alabama?
Right.
So there's only 11 people that can play on offense, 11 people play on defense, and there's plenty of student athletes to go around. This game of athletics, just like business, is all about leadership, and that comes from the leaders on the field, but also the coaches on the sidelines.
Yeah, exactly. And then how much the administration is going to allow the coaches to do what they want to do, the free reins, the athletic director, that's a big kind of unseen part a lot of times in these different decisions. So,
if I may, there's one other really interesting point before we're done, is the most expensive the most expensive employees per state are head football coaches.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Good point. Mike Murphy, Murphy Auto Group. Check him out online at Real Mike Murphy. Thanks again, Mike. Good stuff, man. All right, hey, we had Blake Ambrester, Solar Bear, on the show. Nathan Charles, also engineer at In-Phase Energy, and Mike Murphy, Murphy Auto Group. And thank you so much for tuning into the show, supporting the local economy. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.